We should move on really from Hong Kong because, as amazing as it was,
I love my wife and I love my children.
Well, we are coming to you a bit later in the week because these guys have been busy in Hong Kong. So we're not going to talk too much in depth about last weekend, but we are going to talk about Leicester again because they conceded obviously over 50 points, the most they've conceded for over 30 years. Just how bad is it, guys? And how big is this week's game against Newcastle?
It doesn't get any worse at the minute, does it?
I want to put this 50-pointer into context, though. So they've conceded over 50 points to Exeter. Let's not forget that Jim Hamilton has played for Leicester in the time when they've not conceded 50 points. That's how bad they are now. Jim's not even playing.
Well, all the talk, there's a few talking points, isn't there? There's a talking point of obviously Genge and Knowles' interaction. I think Genji's looking at him saying, "You absolute C-bomb. We can't go out now. It's now over 50 points.
Keep it under 50, you go out on the smash.
Keep it under 50, you can go out. You can have a few drinks responsibly, and you can convince yourself you won the game. The minute it goes over 50 points like that, well, I ain't out. It's like cinema at the absolute most.
Cinema at the
Noel's
most.
gone over, and he knows it's going to be over 50. And the interaction is, mate, I hate you. But
What's he done? He slapped him on the back and smiled a bit or whatever.
Just smiled.
They were on holiday 2 weeks ago together, all in Dubai at the same time I was there. So there was him, Henry Slade, so Noel, Henry Slade, and Ellis Genge. So they're mates, they're close. I think it's been misconstrued.
But you look at,
it doesn't help. It doesn't help when you're losing by 50. You're in the trenches, and you can just take it one of two ways, can't you? So
and you look at it. It's. I mean, I don't want to keep bagging Leicester, but you've got to look. You know, it's just ridiculous to even think that they're in this position. It's ridiculous. I had in a million years we said, they could be in a relegation fight. We're obviously saying it tongue in cheek, but we'll come on to the game against Newcastle, and Goody thinks slightly different to me. In terms of, I think this is the biggest game in Leicester's history. But you look at the season as a whole, you look at the changes that they've had.
It's all mismanagement off the field. You feel for Jordan Murphy as head coach.
You do, and you can see it in Jordan's face now, and his hair, and the colour of his hair. The stress is real, and it's the thing is, yeah. Well, you know Geordie better than me, but I do feel for him. I do.
But it's also mismanaged. It's decisions being made off the field in terms of recruitment, in terms of where they've gone since Cocker's left, and it's just bad decision after bad decision. And people that are making those decisions, recruitment has been very poor. And I said it earlier in the season. It's a mid-table at best squad. Their squad is mid-table at best. And the way the Premiership's panned out this year, with Newcastle finished fourth last year, they're bottom of the league. Bristol have come in and spent money, been promoted, spent money. Everyone thought the battle would just be between Worcester and Bristol, didn't they, at the start of the season?
Wasps have lost all their players.
There's teams. Well, it's been a crazy Premiership season in terms of the competitiveness of relegation for however many clubs are in there. Because you go back historically over the last 5 years, 6 years. There's always been a team, they're going down, and throughout the season, there's never been a question of who's going down, really. And this year, you still can't pick who's getting relegated, can you?
Leicester, it's, they've got big problems, haven't they?
And there's a couple of bits on that as well. They brought Mike Ford in, right? Who isn't...
Here we go.
He's not the most trustworthy person in the world. You've then got George Ford, his son, doing it. I read an interview of George Ford saying that we've lacked clarity in how we're playing this year, and hopefully, Mike can bring in some clarity. I'm like, you're the fly half of the team, and you're saying that, and Mike Ford's saying the same thing as your son, and it just doesn't sit well with me because I know Ford, he wants to be head coach. He's going to be pitching day in, day out. Mike Ford here, I can do a job for you, and because it's what he's done previously. He ousted. We might as well get it out there.
Yeah, go on, Goody, mate. This is going to get rid of your Hong Kong fear. Go.
He ousted Gary Gold.
Where's my rehab?
Gary
today?
Gold
Right.
was head coach, director of rugby, call him what you will, head honcho at Bath. They were doing well. Boom, all of a sudden he's gone. Mike Ford's got himself promoted. You're in a relegation scrap. I don't know. I just don't think that was the right.
But obviously it's not. There's a few. Obviously, Tom Young's getting sent off at the weekend as well.
What'd you make of his red card?
I mean, letter of the law, it's a red, but you can argue it both ways, can't
yeah,
you?
I don't know.
Where he's caught him and where he's bent his neck, and is it sort of fully part of the ruck?
I've said that's the only thing, is it's slightly on the edge of the ruck, and there's a little bit of distance between where it's happened and where the actual ruck is. And it's, Youngsy goes into rucks like that all the time.
Yeah.
He's one of Leicester's only saving graces, really, the way that he carries himself and what it means to him to play for Leicester. So to lose him, for how many weeks it's going to be, we're recording as it's going on now. So I could see why Jordan's peed off about it. I don't think it's a red card. I've seen ones a lot worse than that. You watch, New Zealand versus Ireland, for example. When you've got a battle like that going on, and the lads are flying in left, right, and centre, and I love it. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't think people should be entering rucks like that. I'm not with them people. But if you're seeing the way that some people are entering rucks compared to the way that Youngsy entered that ruck, I would probably see that 10 times a game. Exactly the same. I think Youngsy's thing is the fact that it has happened slightly to the side of the ruck, and you look at it now. Obviously, Youngsy's going to get banned. Ben's injured. He's had surgery on a shoulder, I think. Tamua's asked to leave. Sweet Mary. And then, I tell you what. Then you've got to go up to Newcastle on a Friday night. All the best.
Coached by Dino, John Wells, ex-players there, Toby Flood,
Gonover,
Nicky Gonover,
Mullapola.
Yeah. Reality of it is, right, they're 5 points clear of Newcastle. They're going to Newcastle this weekend. They can still afford to lose that game and not get relegated because they've got 2 home games in the last 3 rounds against Bristol, I believe, in a couple of weeks. And then last game of the season. Now, this is what I think could be the biggest game of the club's history. If they are going into the last game of the season at home with relegation on the line, they play their oldest, biggest rivals, Bath, at home. Now imagine that. Imagine you're a Bath fan, a Bath player that knows about the history. And you talk about big rivalries. Yeah, there's obviously the West Country derby this week, Gloucester against Bath. But historically, the big rivalry in club rugby in England was Leicester against Bath.
Yeah, the 80s and 90s, yeah.
So, yeah, that could be the biggest game. But, they beat Newcastle this weekend. They're safe, in reality, because there'll be 8, 9, 10 points clear of Newcastle. Depends on how many ever points each team gets, with 3 games to go.
I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah, so
no, I don't. I think
I
agree. I think Newcastle win this on Friday.
How do you see it panning out? How do you see Newcastle winning?
It'll be the shittest game ever. And I've played in a lot, and I don't mean that any disrespectfully to the players.
You're right, good. Is everything all right? I thought it was just me.
No,
I thought it was me.
I don't like anything in the world.
I just thought it was me, mate.
Like, unless you played in these relegation battles.
No, I'd never have.
Jim.
Sorry, mate.
Let's not forget, I played at Worcester. I saved Newcastle. I've played in these games when they are edgy affairs. Like, you snatch at passes. You just think, fuck, just boot it. Like, you don't play any rugby in your own half. All the things that you think are going to win you a game, you're just going out there trying not to lose it. You don't go out and try and win the game. So you're trying to play negative percentage rugby. So there's no risk. And honestly, there'll be so much tension. I can't wait to sit on the sofa, get the twins in bed early on Friday night, watch it, because they're never classics. They're never going to be games that are full of tries or whatever. There's so much on the line, and Newcastle know that it's a huge opportunity for them.